Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into Sin's Workshop. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So today we are going to be reviewing Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. So this is my introduction into Brandon Sanderson's world, his universe. And I have to say I really did enjoy it. I will say, so I have this coworker and she has read this book before and she's always going on about how Brandon Sanderson's always talking about the mist. And I get it. And mind you, she's someone who said she likes it. She just gets tired of the mist. And I think that's probably my biggest complaint with this book, because a lot of times it's just like a mention, as if he's like mentioning the atmosphere. And in the style of the story, it was just such an unnecessary detail sometimes that I was like, okay, I get it. The mist exists all around them all the time. Can we move on? I mean, I read it for my book club, and someone said, well, they talk about it a lot in book 2. And I'm like, as long as it has a point to it. I don't mind repetitiveness as long as there is a point to it. As long as it's going somewhere. But in this book, it just kind of felt redundant. And I'm just like, oh, we're talking about the mist again. Okay. But it wasn't going anywhere. And I understand, establishing world building and establishing kind of the importance of mist, but I think Brandon Sanderson does that enough already with just the story and the storytelling and then the Allomancy and then the Lord Ruler. So I don't think it was necessary for him to continue saying the mist. And maybe it's just, my coworker's voice in the back of my head going off. Maybe if I hadn't met her, or if she hadn't talked about it and put it in my head, I would have never even thought about it. But now that I already was aware of it, my mind kind of just zeroed in on that detail. And I'm like, wow, he does mention it a lot. And it just seemed really redundant to me. It didn't really seem to go anywhere in this book. I do plan on finishing the trilogy. Give me time. Just give me time. But that's my opinion on the mist. It was a little redundant. And I will say that those first couple chapters, at least the first 3 chapters, until Vin is introduced, and I'm pretty sure she's either introduced in chapter 4 or chapter 5, I will say, until her introduction, it was dragging. Like, it was dragging. Sorry, my bank's driving me nuts today. It was just like dragging, and I just didn't understand. I like world building. I do. I enjoy it when authors, again, Dragonlance is one of my favorite series in the world, and that has a lot of world building in it. I love epic fantasies for that reason. If I can visualize the world, that's great. However, there was a lot of world building, which again, I am not usually opposed to. It's just that pacing was very, very slow. And it was just like a lot of just constant info dumping a little bit. And I understood it, Kelsier is explaining things, we're trying to understand this world and Kelsier's place in it, and the Lord Ruler and the mist, and the caste system that's going on. So I get it. But it did slow down the pacing. And it was kind of like consistent with the book club. Those first 3 chapters were rough. A lot of people struggled with even continuing because it was rough. It really was. And I understand this was Brandon Sanderson's debut work. But, once you get past that, once you get into Vin, and things kind of felt a little bit less like info dumping, and you're getting to understand Kelsier as a character and his position in this world and his goals, right? And I really liked the characterization. I think that was probably my favorite part of the book, the characterization. I liked the magic system itself, the Allomancy, and how they have to like burn the metals, and how they can use Allomancy and the magic. You know, I really thought it was really unique, and I really, really liked it. So it was really different. So again, once we get that introduction of Vin, I feel like the story really like finds its groove and really just keeps going. I will say for Vin, I liked Vin. However, you can definitely tell that this is Brandon Sanderson's debut work with her characterization, because she has none in the beginning. She's like a blank slate, but she is a young girl, and I think I do take that into consideration. She's a young girl. She's had kind of a rough life, but she's, you know, under Kelsier and going undercover, so to speak. She learns to kind of enjoy life, and she learns to start trusting people, and because she's had all these walls up. So I guess her lack of personality is probably due to her having so many walls up, so she doesn't let people get to know her. But when she starts to let down those walls, I really do think we do see a shine in her characterization. And I do think that her characterization does grow throughout the story. I will say, I know, unpopular opinion apparently, I quite liked Elend, you know, her kind of love interest. He was very naive. He was very much, you know, a privileged kid. He's very much the privileged philosopher who's just like, you know what? I want to help the downtrodden, but he doesn't do anything. He has no action. He does no action. He's one of those who just like speaks and talks, and instead of actually doing and taking action until the very end. And I think it's because of his relationship with Vin that he finally realizes, like, wow, I'm an idiot. I should just take action instead of just philosophizing about taking action. Like, I should actually do something. So he finally does do something. So I will say I do like the characterization and the character growth throughout the entire novel. So, you know, honestly, a solid 4-star read for me. I did enjoy it. I like the introduction into this world. I am interested into reading this full trilogy, and I want to see how Brandon Sanderson's writing grows. But if I were to just judge him by this one book, I would say, well, I've kind of read better epic fantasies. But again, this was his debut work. It was written ages ago. So I really want to read his more current stuff so I can see how his writing style has evolved. And so I'm going to finish the trilogy, and then we'll go from there. I do like epic fantasies. The chunkier the better. Like, I love myself like a chunky 800-page book. I really do. I'm like weird that way. I really do. So yeah, interesting book. Really enjoyed it. Can't wait to read books 2 and 3. So in any case, thank you all for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with our book-loving friends. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.